right here in our midst. And so today I'm going to have my two friends, my special guests, introduce themselves to you in just a minute. But first, if you're a parent out there, I just want to have you imagine for a moment, because most of you have help. Imagine quarantine, as hard as it's been, as a solo parent. And that's the word we're going to use for these two women, solo parents. They're in different situations, but both of them have done this entire quarantine solo. No breaks. All right, with that gravity and horror in your heart, let's meet these two amazing women. So, Donita, introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself, your kids, your family.
Hi. I'm Donita. I'm married and yet I'm alone because my husband is in the Navy and he's deployed right now. He actually left in January, so I think we're hitting the 5-month mark now. We have two little crazy kids. Rory is 3.5 and Elliot is going to be 2 in August. So fun age.
Life is super
age.
boring for you. You are watching TV and eating treats all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I meant like in a relaxing way, not like actually. Okay, anyways.
TV is a babysitter sometimes. So
that's a real talk,
the reality
right there.
of it.
It's a real talk.
But yeah, life is just crazy.
Okay, so we have Donita, married, husband deployed, 2 kids, all on your own. Okay, Janine.
Hi, my name is Janine, and I am mom to 3 boys, Logan, Preston, and Landon. Logan and Preston are my twins. They will be turning 9 at the end of this month. And my youngest, Landon, he is 6, and we have been doing this ever since it started. So...
you guys, first I just have to say, you have my utmost respect and honor and love, and I'm smiling, but I'm not laughing at you. I can't imagine. I mean, my kids are older now, so I'm past this stage, but I remember it vividly, especially with twins. So I can't imagine the solo parenting that you both have done. So I want to know a little bit about it. We want our friends that are watching to know a little bit about it. So first, Janine, I'll start with you because you work. So tell us a little bit about what you do and how that has changed maybe over the past couple of months of being quarantined at home.
So I am a medical massage therapist. I'm blessed to work in a really fantastic wellness clinic, and I'm going into my 11th year as a massage therapist, about 5th year at the clinic that I am at. The clinic did close down around mid-March just for health and safety reasons, because you can't really distance massage somebody. It's kind of impossible. So I have been not working since about mid-March. Our clinic just opened this past week, very, very part-time. But I am not going back until after all 3 of my kids are done with school, just because they have so many Zoom calls. And I am the manager of all these fabulous Zoom calls. So normally I do work full-time. They'll be in school, and then if not in school, they'll be in daycare. But right now I've just been home with them, doing school, managing the crazy.
So you went from full-time work to full-time educator, as many of our families have done, but with no help.
Yeah.
So you're managing. I just have to point this out because I've heard this repeatedly from our parents of kids that are in school normally, that are like, how do you do multiple kids on Zoom calls at the same time, especially twins who might even be in some of the same ones or at the same time or the same content but different teachers. And I can't. How is your Wi-Fi strong? And how do you have enough devices for the kids? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, one thing that helped is when all this started, I actually wrote a letter to all my kids' teachers, and I said, hey, this is my situation. This is what I'm capable of. This is what my kids are capable of. I need your grace and understanding during this time. It is not because, I don't care, they don't care, we don't want to. It's just these are our limitations. And luckily, all 3 of my kids' teachers were so helpful. One of my Logan's teachers is actually a single mom herself, so she was extremely understanding with just trying to make that all work. So that has been a huge help for us, just to have that from the get-go to help make it all work, because it is crazy at times when they're having Zoom calls at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Donita, solo parenting, I mean, both of you have experience with solo parenting because of your situations, but adding quarantine to it, have you had any help at all? Because you're not able to expose parents to kids, or what does that look like for you?
So, no, I haven't had any help whatsoever. My family all works still during like the whole pandemic. So my brother works in a pharmacy, so he really can't help out.
Right.
Excuse me. And my older brother, he just had brain surgery. And so like he really couldn't help. But most of my family don't follow the restrictions and the safety protocols. And so even if I was in desperate need, I couldn't call on anybody.
Wow. Talk to us a little bit about Ian's experience, because Ian was deployed and was on a ship that then had positive cases. And so give us a little bit about what that's been like as his wife stuck here wondering how he's doing. And
So it's pretty funny because he was hoping that he would have gotten sick, because they treat, I mean, at least on his ship, from what I know, they basically quarantine you in a nice hotel, and like they were dry docked in, or not dry docked, they were, I don't know the lingo.
docked.
They were docked in San Diego for a while. I don't know if they're still there. I don't know. He doesn't, we don't really talk all that much. So it's hard, but he was in San Diego for quite a while, and he was working in the kitchens at the time that all of this happened. And so he had to basically go above and beyond and like run himself ragged to make sure that nobody was getting sick and that there was no contamination of anything. And he felt like it all fell on him, but that's just the responsible, Ian talking. But they took shifts, like half of the ship took their quarantine, and then the other half took it when they were done. And he just got done with his quarantine. He's like a new man after it. But there were, I don't even know how many cases there were confirmed, but he didn't end up getting sick, which is great, but he still got that quarantine time.
Right. Good.
But
Any hope of him coming home soon?
no.
Oh, Lord.
I think they're still doing the full deployment, so.
Wow. Okay, so talk to me about what has been the hardest thing for you personally. I know there's layers, because there's the hardest thing for your family and the hardest thing for your kids. But what's been the hardest thing for you personally in the past couple of months? And either of you can go first.
For me, one of the hardest things is the only adult time I get is when I go to work. I don't get to interact with other adults ever unless it is like at work or like when I come to church. And so having that totally taken away and having my only social interactions be with 3 little boys, that, especially in the beginning, was really, really hard for me. Also, and this is something my kids share, we have the extrovert-introvert crisis in my house. Myself and one of my sons is an introvert, and the 2 others are extroverts.
Oh, no.
And so me and Logan, we are living our best life. We are like baking and just loving being at home and sleeping in a little. And then Preston and Landon are going completely bonkers because they want to be outside. And so just, there was a lot of yelling at me at the beginning because I wouldn't let them play with friends. And that was really stressful just as a parent, like that feeling of saying no, 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 no all the time. That was really hard on me to deal with.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me has been, part of like getting me time, but also taking care of myself.
Yeah.
My health has been a real roller coaster this last year or so, and I just started understanding it as soon as Ian left and when quarantine started. And I haven't been able to see doctors because they're only seeing like corona cases, or
Right.
my allergist closed down, and not closed, but
Pretty much close. We
Close.
have the same allergist.
Yeah.
They're pretty much close.
they wouldn't see me, and I couldn't get tested for anything. So I was like on calls with my doctor, like saying, what is this? Like, what could it be? Trying to narrow it down. And thankfully, due to that, like, we've narrowed it down a little bit, but still I can't get tested for anything. We don't know for sure. And then going to, like, it's food allergies that it is. And so, going to the grocery store every single week with 2 children, you get a lot of like horrified people yelling
is
at
that
me.
your experience too?
Yelling
I am
at
like,
me.
amen.
I never
Amen
even
to that.
thought of
Yes.
that. I
yes.
never thought of that.
Yeah,
It's
people get really
horrible.
upset that you bring your kids.
They're like, they just lecture
You don't care about your kids.
Really?
Yeah.
how unsafe it is and how bad it is for you to be bringing your children to the grocery store. And like, I have to go like every week, like sometimes multiple times in a
Also,
week.
is it better I leave them home alone, or should I leave
Right?
them in the car by themselves? With
Can
a
my
screen?
3-year-old babysit? So, yeah, it's a lot of, you know what the right thing is to do, but you still have to kind of work around it and be flexible and creative with it. So just kind of ignore the negativity.
Gosh. Well, I know Janine has experience with health issues too. So you both have that ongoing struggle of if you're having a rough day or something, you don't get an off day. I mean, every parent knows that, all the single moms out there, and we know you're not the only solo parents, but for all the single moms or single parents out there or solo parents for whatever circumstance, they know what it's like to not have a day off or a sick day. So that's just another layer of I admire you guys so much. What's been the hardest thing, do you think, for your kids? And I know that has layers to it, too. I mean, you have the introvert, extrovert piece of it, and I don't get to see my friends, and they don't understand, and where's Dad, and is he ever coming back? So, what's been the hardest thing for your kids?
For mine, it's definitely like not socializing with anybody else. Luckily we have a backyard, and we share a backyard with like, it's a chain link fence, and so we can see neighbors, but Rory will kick and scream and cry that he wants to play with friends, and he doesn't understand why I'm saying no, and we don't have church to come to so that he can, play with his friends here, and just, it breaks my heart because he loves people so much, and
Yeah, that's rough.
Elliot doesn't know anything
Yeah.
right now, so I'm lucky with that, but she's great. But yeah, Rory, he just breaks my heart every day.
How about you, Janine? What's hardest for your kids?
I think what's been hardest for all 3 of them is the no's. My youngest son, Landon, his birthday was end of March, and it was supposed to be his first year of having a friend party. No, you can't have a friend party. None of his class was set up with Zoom yet, so his friends didn't get to say anything to him. I couldn't find a way to really connect any of his friends to come see him, even if it was just driving by. And so he has told me almost every single week since his birthday, people forgot about my birthday. My class doesn't like me. And it's like, nobody, like, they just couldn't. And, trying to explain those kind of no's, when he doesn't know anybody with coronavirus. He doesn't really get what it means to be infected. He doesn't understand that. And then my twins, their birthday's coming up. I don't know if you guys are going to have a party. And like, we didn't get to do swim lessons in the winter, and just a lot of those knows that they're just having a hard time understanding. That's been really, really tough for all 3 of them.
Wow.
So.
Sometimes I formulate questions to ask people, and I think I know what the answer will be, but you guys are blowing me away because these are things I wouldn't have even thought of. Those first couple weeks of everything shutting down and everyone staying at home, anyone who had a special occasion or birthday in there just got lost, because that's before all the creative ideas of a drive-by birthday or whatever, drop things on the porch or come wave from the street or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a real thing that a kid wouldn't understand for sure.
Yeah. Landon's going to do a half birthday party.
That's
so we're
the way
going
to
to go with that. So
So one thing I know about solo parents, especially these fine women right here, I know this about you, is you've adapted to the point where you just are super creative. So I want to hear some of the creative things, 1, 2, 3 things maybe that you've come up with. You were talking a little bit before we started, Janine, about one of your guys' creative ideas. And so I'd love to know what you guys are doing to keep it fun, too.
Okay. So we've come up, one of the things that we did is kind of fun, and my family as a whole, we're very much goal setters. We that just keeps us going throughout our year. And so we did our yearly goals in September, but we came up with quarantine goals, and they had to be fun ones. I told the boys it had to be something that would be really fun for us to do, and it would keep us safe. And so one of them was to make 30 TikTok videos. I don't like TikTok videos, so this was a stretch for me, but my kids really had a great time doing the TikTok. They also wanted to do one science experiment a week. Cedar Way has a rocket on top of it now, so sorry, Cedar Way, but it was fun.
Wow.
And we also have Pajama Monday. So we just wear pajamas all day Monday because we can, and why not? So
Love it.
we do
And
Pajama Monday.
You're writing a song.
So we are writing a song about Pop-Tarts, and we're gonna put this on TikTok and Facebook. So be ready.
Fantastic.
So yeah, so they've had a lot of fun with that.
And your kids are older, so,
Yeah, so they're-
this translates differently for you, and maybe your kids aren't really aware, but anything fun you guys have done?
Yeah. We kind of do the Pajama Mondays too, except it kind of
It's every day.
it's whatever day we choose. If it's raining outside, mostly we do pajamas, kind of a late breakfast, and we make a fort on the living room floor, and we
Awesome.
watch Mary Poppins or Sound of Music or Aristocats, because those are like our happy time movies.
Okay.
And we just have a little fort on the floor. And then if it's sunny, we live right next to a Centennial Trail, and so we like to. For a really long time, it wasn't closed down, luckily, and so every sunny day we just would take about 1.5 miles down to. There's a riverbank that meets it, and so we would like throw rocks in the river and play with cars and splash each other and just get a little bit of a reset,
Yeah.
pretty much. And 3 miles is a lot for kids to
Holy
run.
cow. Does it
So-
actually tire them out?
Yes.
Okay,
And so they
fantastic.
That's a
nap.
win.
Both
Tip
my
for
kids
parents.
nap, and so just it's great to tire them out like that. And then let's see here, my creative stuff all comes down to what I consume myself, and so like my social media is filled with like children's psychologists or teachers who are helping just create activities and like preparing kids for the classroom and stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of like indoor activities and things like that.
So you're running a preschool at your
pretty
house,
much,
is essentially
we
what
have
you're
science
saying.
experiments. We do lots of like putting a bunch of paper on the wall and just letting them go to town. And lots of chalk, things like that. And I don't know, I just feel like it's pretty standard, like
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom to 2 under 4 years old.
Well,
kind
you
of
could
thing.
you could shut down though and just say
Yeah.
this is too hard. So well done.
Some days that
well
happens.
done.
But
Sure. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah. So well done. Anything you tried epically fail? Did you have a moment of like, well, that was a really great idea, and that isn't something we're never doing again?
Anytime we try to do anything,
Okay, fair.
there's resistance usually, and it all comes down to, again, how I'm doing mentally and just wellness-wise. So if I can handle their tantrums and work them through it, then it's a success. But if I myself am like boiling to the point of like overflow, then yeah, it really just depends on the mood.
Okay.
For us, I would say the first 2 to 3 weeks, I had asked my kids kind of how they wanted the day to go, and they said they wanted kind of a school schedule. And so we tried like this hour by hour. I know it makes me laugh thinking about it now. I was like, God bless myself for being so
We were
ambitious.
so
I know. It's like
inexperienced then.
that was
We're
so
so
cute.
wise now.
So we tried this hour by hour schedule, like including their Zoom meetings and just doing all the things. We did a morning walk. And by like week 3, it was just, week 3 was just a hard week in the Meadowcroft house. It was just epic meltdowns, like epic. I will remember them forever.
Can you laugh about them now?
I can laugh about them now, but during the time, I was like, I'm going to go crazy. They're going to have to hospitalize me. Like, I don't think I can do
Not
this.
laughing at you.
No, it was week 3. Wow. So that was just the schedule. We do a routine now.
Oh, okay.
But it is
I
not
like-
an hour by hour, minute to minute.
I like the difference, a routine versus a schedule.
Yeah. So we have a flow to our
Nice.
day, and that keeps us somewhat sane. So,
Nice.
no meltdowns.
That's good.
Okay, last question, because I think all of us that have lived through this quarantine, we're going to remember it for the rest of our lives, and we're going to remember hilarious things, and we're going to remember terrible things. But I also want to remember the beautiful things. So, what is something or a couple somethings that have been beautiful or special, or that you'll treasure from this time?
I just get to watch my kids grow up, and I'm gonna cry. Stop.
I not cry during this.
I am growing up as well, and it's really cool to see. And yeah, I'm sorry. We're growing up. That's it.
I've watched you grow up from a little
I
girl.
know, right?
I'm really proud of you.
I think I've known you, like 15 years
Like
now?
pretty much your whole life, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I'm not gonna cry either. I think for us, kind of one thing came out of the other. I think looking back, I didn't realize how busy we were before all this started. I mean, I remember just feeling sick from having to wake up so early with my kids and just getting them everywhere to do all their things. And we've been able to just relax, and just seeing some of my my kids' interests come out of this. Like my son, he was saying, I love writing songs, Mom, but I never got to in school because music, they told us how to do it. Mm-hmm. And so getting to see him grow into that more, and just, my kids reading together and just slowing down a bit so that they could do that. And for me, just getting clarity, going into all this, this past year for me, spiritually, I have just felt kind of forgotten. Like, oh God, I'm just, I'm outside of the umbrella. I'm not covered. And like, I don't see myself in the Bible. Kind of depressing. And going into quarantine in this phase, just really hitting prayer hard and seeing God show up just with basic needs. Like, God, I'm not getting paid right now. How am I going to feed my kids? And then next day, someone calling me being like, hey, I'm going to go drop some groceries off. And I'm like, what? And just feeling God's presence again and getting that clarity again. I don't think I will ever forget that. Just kind of spiritually this period in my life. So that's been really special for me.
Wow.
You guys, I'm so proud of you. I am proud of Venture even just for giving you a voice, because your voices matter, and how you've adapted, and we can say this about a lot of people, but to the two of you specifically, how you've adapted, how you've risen to the challenge, the extra challenge. It's already challenging to solo parent, but it's challenging to parent. It's extra challenging, I would imagine, to solo parent, but to rise to this challenge now of really limited or no help, and being quarantined, and being a preschool teacher and an educator, and having to figure out how to provide for your kids, and the dirty looks and the judgment at the grocery store, and all of it. I'm really proud of you. So thank you for sharing your stories and a little piece of your life and your families. And we pray blessing on you. Anyone watching, I encourage you, just pray blessing on our solo parents. If you know a solo parent, they need a little love right now. Send them some encouragement. Drop off a gift basket. Give them a hug as soon as it's allowed. Take their children for an hour or two to the park. Anything else you want me to add in there? drop off
I'm like,
groceries.
all those things, all of that. That's great.
And specifically, if you know these two women, shoot them a little love. Tell them you're proud of them. But we're proud of you. I'm proud of you. Thanks for coming in, for loading your kids into the car to come here in order to share your story. We love you. I actually have a special gift for you after we're done here because we want to show you tangible love too. So thank you, and thanks for joining us. We're proud of these two women.